Tom, good morning to you. So
Good
these
to be
are
with you, Marcia.
pretty serious allegations against MP Dong, but he's adamant that they're false. What is your reaction to all of this?
Well, a lot of this is about the fundamentals of our institutions. One of the fundamental principles of our justice system is you're innocent, and so it's up to others to prove your guilt. And he's not even accused of anything. It's just an allegation with regard to his behavior reported and the Chinese government. So this is why I think that Pierre Poilievre is on solid ground more than ever, calling for an independent inquiry into this whole mess. Because here you have an individual in very moving terms standing up in the House of Commons saying, look, I was elected, I'm a Canadian, I was elected by Canadians, and this is untrue. And how are we going to get to the bottom of this? David Johnston's been given a mandate until the end of May to say whether or not he thinks there should be an independent inquiry, but he has absolutely no authority to do anything. And the only person who gets to decide that is Justin Trudeau. He is the prime minister. He heads the cabinet table, and it's a cabinet decision to strike a commission of inquiry. So all this really gives the appearance that Trudeau is trying to stall. The appearance also is not favorable here because he did step down. And if we look at what's happened over the past several weeks with these allegations and this information that has come out in dribs and drabs, it's regularly confirmed. So I have yet to see a single element of this type that's come out that has been proven to be false. So we've got municipal level, direct, very clear evidence of Chinese government interference in the defeat of the sitting mayor who was up for re-election named Kennedy Stewart. He'd taken strong stands against China that they didn't like. And there's very clear evidence that, again, it was a consul general in Vancouver playing that role. Here it's alleged that it was a consul general in Toronto. These are people at the highest level of the Chinese government. And so it's important to always say Chinese government, Chinese regime, the Beijing regime, Chinese Communist Party, because we're not talking about your neighbors who might have come in from Hong Kong to flee all of this. Or, you know, if anybody's got a lot to worry about here, it's people who are members of that community who might feel pressure by the types of tactics that have come to light so far. And it's also very disturbing for our institutions that a lot of this information is clearly being leaked by people who are in the security apparatus of the Canadian state. Mm-hmm. I mean, what could be more disturbing? But they're so frustrated, apparently, and we're told in a whistleblower letter, that they've given this information to Trudeau, who simply refuses to act upon it. That opens up a political question about Trudeau. Is there something in there that will be damaging to him or to the Liberal Party? And, you know, to quote Bob Fife, one of the lead journalists who have been working on these issues, that's clearly the case. Trudeau's been stalling on the Commission of Inquiry because he knows there's stuff in there that will hurt him. So all Canadians and our institutions are suffering because of this leaking of allegations bit by bit. And we deserve to have our institutions protected and to have a full light shone on all of this. And Mr. Dong's case is an even better argument in favor of having a full airing of this, because if it is indeed the case that this is wrong, and it turns out that Mr. Dong has a valid case that should have been put forward, but he's being swept up in all of this, another good reason to get whatever elements of truth we do have and proof we do have out on the table and clarify everything for everyone.
Do you think that Dong should have resigned? And is it problematic in itself that he met with the consul general?
We don't know the contents of the conversation yet. We have two sources who are quoted by another news media, and you're right, we haven't independently verified that ourselves. But I think that he had no choice but to step down, the same way a member of the caucus of Doug Ford's Conservative government in Ontario stepped down. And we've got too much on the table right now. And that's why the presumption of innocence, the presumption that there's nothing wrong, should never be reversed. But at this point, the burden is starting to shift. Because when these things do come out, people are saying, but it's everything else that's come out so far, nobody's been able to contradict it. So it's not fair in and of itself. If we look at our system, our values, the way we look at these issues, you have to be proven to have done something wrong. But obviously now it's at a tipping point, and that's not healthy either for our democracy. And that's why Trudeau should take a good hard look at this and realize that he's the only one who can take this decision. David Johnston's a fine individual. I know him well. I have nothing but the greatest respect for him. That's not the issue. The issue is Trudeau's using Johnston to keep shoveling this forward because he's got his own election agenda, he's got his own dates, and he's just trying to make this thing disappear. He's been hoping since the beginning that it would somehow just disappear on its own thanks to time. Yeah. Most things in politics disappear thanks to time. not this one.
And it's also a major distraction on a big day for
Yes,
the
well
Prime
said.
Minister with
Yes,
Joe Biden coming.
exactly, Marcia. I mean, you can just imagine, Trudeau was saying, oh, I finally get a bit of a respite, a bit of a break. I'm going to, have this high-level summit with no other figure than the President of the United States. And do you think he's going to get through his press conferences without a question on Dong, on Chinese government interference in Canadian democracy? Do you think we're going to get through this without Biden getting a single question? I can tell you right now that Biden will have been briefed within an inch of his life on this stuff. He's going to have his lines ready. He's going to be very careful, give some general reference to the importance of protecting our institutions. He has confidence in Canada, but we know, because there was a book written about it, that the Americans have been concerned for several years about Canada's very lax attitude in dealing with Chinese government interference here. And it's been well documented. So it's becoming a bit galling when the Australians, the Brits, and the Americans got together recently for a big pact on security, and Canada was excluded. We should have started getting the message that people just don't think that we're up to the task of dealing in the world that we're in today, and Canada's not seen as a reliable partner. And that should be also a really worrisome development for most Canadians.
Last question for you then this morning, Tom. What are you watching for to come out of this visit between Biden and Trudeau? They've got a pretty packed agenda, a lot of issues, a lot of challenging things to discuss. What are you keeping an eye on?
On the highest level, trade. Our economic ties are the most important of any two countries in the world. We've also got big security issues, not just the questions of other countries interfering, but we've got over-the-horizon radar that has to be built in the Canadian Arctic. We've said we're going to have the cash for that. The Americans are going to push with good reason for that to be built more rapidly than we're capable of doing anything with our military. Our procurement record is just abysmal. And I also think that Canadians just want to see a smile on Biden's face as he walks through Ottawa and meets people. Connecting, keeping that relation on a good, even keel is so important. Trump, with all of his foibles, only made one visit to Canada. Was it to the south, to the North Shore, down from Quebec City for that meeting of the G7, and it didn't go well. It turned into a big fight between him and Trudeau. So we've got to make sure that relation stays top of mind for everybody in Canada, because it's just too important to let it slide. We are good friends, and we should remind each other of that every day.
Tom Mulcair, thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
All the best.